It could be a back three, it could be a back four derby. They did warm up in a back four with Ward, Langas, Bart and Forsyth, but we'll see about that. Corey Blackett-Taylor is in the team. There's a debut for Oscar Fraulo, who is a Danish midfielder, just been signed for Borussia Mönchengladbach. Lewis Travis, the captain in midfield. Bobby Clark as well, son of Lee. And then Ben Brereton-Diaz and Lars Jørgen Salvesen up front. So Brewster, Adjaman, Elder, Thompson, all on the substitutes bench today. No Clark or Sanderson, not involved at all. And Leeds with Darlow in goal, Bornau, Biol and Ampadu. And just looking at it now, it does look as though it's Gnonto and Harrison as the wing-backs, Tanaka and Gruev in midfield, and then Mecha, Okafor and Pirro. So interesting lineup, Curtis.
Yeah, it's a really interesting lineup. You know, we expect Harrison and Gnonto to be on the front foot. I think this Leeds side will want to dominate possession and make sure that they are able to do that. But it will be interesting to see, with Gnonto playing so high up, if he is high up, if Blackett-Taylor can have that space to go 1v1 and cause some problems for that Leeds defence.
And Anthony Taylor, Curtis, immediately clamping down on things, blew his whistle and then stopped us because some of the players were in the other half, so we had a false start. But we're underway now. This is the FA Cup third round, Sunday on BBC Radio 5 Live. Derby County of the Championship against Leeds United of the Premier League. Leeds in their blue, they're almost all blue change kit with the yellow trim here and there, white numbers on the back of the shirts. And just having a look at how things have settled down for Derby. In fact, Leeds in possession at the moment. A long ball hit from Harrison. And Derby should deal with that. Indeed, Anthony Taylor's given a free kick on the halfway line to Derby. Early goal in one of the WSL matches, also a 12 o'clock kickoff. Chelsea-West Ham, Charlotte Richardson.
Chelsea 1, West Ham 0, the first attack of the game for the host and an opening goal. Good build-up in the box, creating some room down the right-hand side. Eddie Carpenter's tricky cross tapped in by a West Ham player for an own goal. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0.
And choice of listening right now, by the way, the Aston Villa-Brighton WSL match is on Sports Extra 2 on your BBC Sounds app as the ball is headed back for Leeds. Back to goalkeeper Darlow, who's able to claim that was a bit of a stretch, but he got to it and was able to see it back to the goalkeeper. And it is a back four, isn't it, Derby?
Yeah, Derby's playing a back four, and looking at Leeds, it looks like they're playing back four with Jack Harrison actually playing as a left back today. So yeah, interested to see how Jack does from that position.
Well, that is interesting. I mean, he's had so little football, hasn't he? Just 3 starts now this season. Leeds making advances down the left-hand side with Okafor, but Derby are able to deal with it and play it back towards the halfway line. So yes, for Leeds United, who are in possession right now inside their own half. Biol here as the right-sided central defender, and Bornau playing as the right back. So Tanaka, Ampadu and Gruev all in midfield.
Yeah, I think it probably makes sense because Harrison's got the tenacity, and he's also got the, I guess shall we say, the honesty to actually play as a fullback. So he'll get up and down the pitch, whereas with Gnonto, I know he wants to be on the front foot more often than not, and he finds himself in a number 10 position right now, looking to get in the box. Yeah,
here is Harrison onto it, and his cross is blocked behind by Joe Ward for what is the first corner of the match to Leeds United, and great following from the Leeds fans. They've turned there, and that's where the noise is coming from at the moment. The home section's not full. There are, I can see, empty black seats around quite a number of the home sections. I think the expectation was that the crowd for this match would be maybe in the early 20s, something like that. Normally, of course, Pride Park League matches is just about packed. But here is the corner for Leeds United, into the near post. It's headed away to comparative safety. In fact, it's out of play for a throw-in to Leeds halfway inside the Derby half. So the first set piece is dealt with. It's such a big thing, isn't it, in the match, in the game these days?
It is, and it always has been, but it's, again, because we speak about numbers, we speak about stats, we can see how many times you've conceded, how many times you've scored, and I think ultimately teams have maybe gone back to, again, the importance of it in terms of you don't have to play 100 passes to score a goal. You put a ball in the box, so you can score a goal from a set piece. So I think that's really important, but I think Leeds have settled into this game really, really well. They're using the ball really well. They've found their shape early. They're playing balls through the Derby lines, and yeah, they've started the game really well. And and constantly look a threat as they come forward again.
Yes, they do. The ball played through the middle, looking for the run of Pirot, but actually the offside flag is up, even though it was cleared away by Derby, and it's a free kick to Derby on the edge of their own penalty area. So that is the voice of Curtis Davis. This is quite a rare thing, isn't it? You and I working together. It's been a little while, but you're a great man for the FA Cup, having scored in the final. Not too many people who can say that, are there?
No, not too many people that can say that. I still say to this day one of the best and the worst day of my footballing career, in terms of, you know, scoring that goal that I dreamed for as a kid, scoring at Wembley in an FA Cup final, to then lose the game after being 2-0 up. Absolutely devastating. But yeah, still fond memories, and yeah, hopefully we can see some big memories made today for these teams.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. That exciting Arsenal Hull City final. But you know, a man I worked with many times, Graham Taylor, always used to say something similar whenever we would cover an FA Cup tie together. I would say Graham managed in the FA Cup final, and he would always say to me, it's one of my bitterest memories, actually. Even though it would have been a dream to be involved in an FA Cup final, the fact they lost it. It is Derby. Forsyth was fouled by Gnonto, so free kick, and it comes back to Forsyth. 37 next month, Craig Forsyth, and also Danny Bart in the team as they come again. Blackett Taylor into the penalty area, and the shot from him, nice footwork from him, went for goal, and it was blocked behind for a goal kick. Yes, Danny Bart as well in the Derby side. So man who's 37 next month and a 35-year-old.
Yeah, did really well there, because Craig just got the block on Gnonto as he goes into the corner. Okafor tries to clear the ball, he clears it straight to Blackett Taylor on the edge of the box, who takes a great touch, but fortunately for Leeds, it's Ampadu that comes across to get the block.
So it is Derby's first corner from the left, played in by Ward, and it's headed away, not completely out of the penalty area though, and then whacked away downfield to comparative safety near the halfway line. So this is 5 Live from the BBC. Derby County 0, Leeds United 0. I hope you didn't miss kick-off, 12 o'clock, very early start for one of our commentaries on a Sunday, but many more to come. Spurs played over the top, and Leeds should deal with this, which they do, although it's just been nipped back by Salveson, the sprightly young Norwegian, or former Norwegian under-19 forward, and it's out of play for a throw into Leeds that will be taken by Bornau, Sebastian Bornau, who has played in the last 4 matches now for Leeds United, headed in field by Forsyth. Then it is deflected forward by Pirot, comes back to Forsyth, in towards Brereton Diaz, who knocked it away from Tanaka, who had already committed himself to the challenge. That's a foul, it was late, it's a free kick, 10 yards inside the Leeds half, and I don't think Anthony Taylor is going to take any further action than just give the free kick.
No, I think that's probably a sensible decision. Tanaka goes in, but it's quite again, not a soft one, but he just catches Brereton Diaz on the toe. Brereton Diaz tries to jump out of the way, which makes it look a lot worse. But you see there, just Derby, when they've made a couple of passes, because of this Leeds press, they're so intense trying to get onto the ball. They've been late a couple of times with Gnonto and then with Tanaka, so giving free kicks away in the edge of the box.
Decent start by Derby. Forsyth takes the free kick in towards the edge of the penalty area, but that is headed away by Bornau. Comes back, Derby with it on the right-hand side. Clark trying to force a position, but it's deflected off him behind, and it is Leeds United's ball. So Derby County 0, Leeds United 0. So it's actually a throw-in down there, which is going to be taken by Ampadu next to the corner flag. And so Derby trying to pin them back in there, but it is a very long throw actually towards the halfway line, headed back for Derby, rattles around centre field, and then Tanaka hits a left-footed pass long. This is for Gnonto to chase after. Gnonto gets there ahead of Forsyth, now he's backpedaling. Gnonto plays it across the box, a little flick away, and then the shot. As he arrived onto it, it was hit right-footed by Okafor, but high over the top of the crossbar and wide as well, and it is still 0-0, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, it was never going to trouble Zetterstrom there, and it's good play by Gruev. He sees the ball bounce, and he just smashes it to the right-hand side, knowing that Gnonto's going to be hugging that touchline, and the race with Forsyth was always going to be won by him. As he gets onto it, runs at him, plays a clever ball into the box. As it's cleared, the match are way over the bar, and no trouble for Derby.
So Derby playing it forward. This is for Salverson to chase, but he won't reach that, and it's through and all the way behind for a goal kick. So Derby County 0, Leeds United 0. Two clubs that have been winners of the FA Cup in their time, once each. Derby were winners in the first FA Cup competition after the Second World War, so 1946. Derby won it, and that was Derby's last appearance in an FA Cup final. Free kick in the centre circle as Leeds tried to break forward, and the challenge that came in on Mecha results in a free kick that Tanaka is just going to tap back into the back line for Leeds United. Comes across here to Biol, and will just walk it over the halfway line. Then Bornau goes for the cross, took a deflection, but that deflection of Blackett-Taylor actually carried it closer to goalkeeper Zetterström, who was able to catch it quite comfortably, and he's got the ball in his hands, Curtis.
Yeah, we've seen straight away, for as much as Leeds have controlled the ball and done really well, if Derby do get stretched, there's that option of just the pace in behind. You know, Nonto's there, Nemecha's there, you know, we've got pace for fun at the back, so it'll be interesting, because with all due respect, as much as Fozzie's my old mate, and him and Danny Bart, they're very experienced, they're not known for their pace, so it could be a long afternoon.
Poor pass from Forsyth, he's given it away to Mecha takes on now Bart, looks to get the cross in, but it comes off the legs of Danny Bart, which deflects it straight behind for a corner from the right hand side, this time for Leeds.
Yeah, after Craig Forsyth gave away the ball, Danny Bart made the right decision. He didn't commit himself, he just tried to delay Mecha, and Mecha actually tried to take the option of the cross rather than go at Danny Bart, and fortunately for Danny Bart, he gets the block and it goes out for a Leeds corner.
Yep, so a corner from the right hand side here, which Jack Harrison has come across to take. He's been rather out of the picture lately, unused substitute in the last 5 matches. Harrison playing it in, but that's headed well and firmly away by Langas, the Derby County central defender, the number 6, the Norwegian international. Back to Harrison with his black hair tied up in a little knot at the back of his head. Harrison's cross, left-footed into the penalty area, too close to the goalkeeper who caught it.
Yeah, did well to make the space, just got past Blackett-Taylor on his right-hand touchline, cut on onto his left, and just too close to the edge of the box.
Salverson for Derby plays it out to Blackett-Taylor, who's on the left wing. The number 11 takes on Nyonto, beats him, low ball into the penalty area, is steered away to comparative safety by Gruev, and Nyonto, who is easily beaten there as the right wing back by Blackett-Taylor. I'm not sure how much of if you've got Nyonto in a defensive position there, but they're bringing it forward now. Here is Harrison over on the far side. Harrison taking it down the left wing. He's up against Joe Ward, who's been one of the top performers for Derby this season as the right back, or the right wing back, and Harrison's cross is over-hit by a distance, and Derby have got it back and play it forward to Blackett-Taylor, and he's knocked it around Bornau, but Bornau was able to get there first and play it back to goalkeeper Darlow, who's out of his penalty area, passes it to his left to Ampadu, and now here's Harrison again, just inside his own half. In the WSL, Aston Villa 0, Brighton 1 is the opening goal in that match. As I say, that's the commentary on Sports Extra 2 right now, which you have to have the BBC Sounds app to listen to, Sports Extra 2, as Bornau goes back towards the halfway line. If you weren't with us just before kick-off, talking about the match yesterday, the big story, Macclesfield against Crystal Palace, if you're at that match and you want to relive it again, you can do that. Listen on BBC Sounds, go back into the stations and schedules, find yesterday's 5 Live Sport, and you can hear how it sounded like as that dramatic day unfolded at the Moss Rose. Derby 0, Leeds United 0. Just another of the offerings that you can get from the great BBC Sounds. Here's Nyonto in the centre circle, then out towards the left-hand side. Blue shirts pouring forward, ball into the penalty area, that's half cleared away by Langer, sort of hit him on the midriff, Curtis, but with enough power to deflect it out of the box.
Yeah, it's a really awkward one because nowadays you just don't want it to your hand because you don't know what's handball anymore, but does what's clear. And Blackett-Taylor 1v1.
Here's Clark to Blackett-Taylor. Blackett-Taylor running at Bornow into the penalty area, goes for goal, but it deflects off the legs of Bornow as he stepped across it, which took it wide and behind for another Derby County corner. Effective break. I think it's interesting, Blackett-Taylor, speaking to our colleagues from BBC Radio Derby, they were telling me for Blackett-Taylor this is a big day because the feeling is that he needs to produce.
Yeah, I think with Blackett-Taylor, when he was signed, he was signed for a Paul Warne side that played a back three, and he was having to operate as a wing-back. He's a winger out and out. We played against him at Charlton, and he played on the final line. He got at defenders, and that's what he's been doing today. He's been allowed to go 1v1 with Bornow a few times because of Nonto's position, and it's going to be a long afternoon if they keep allowing him to get onto the ball and go 1v1 against Bornow.
So corner for Derby, over to our left. Packed 6-yard box. Delivery right-footed is a deep one over everyone, in fact, and it is mocked by the Leeds United supporters as it bounces straight out of play for a goal kick. So did you feel the Derby-Leeds rivalry in your times playing here?
Yeah, well, obviously during our time, obviously we were a side that we're trying to get promoted ourselves. Leeds were doing that as well, and we got beaten well by Leeds a couple of times during the league season, and obviously the Spygate stuff all happened, and we managed to have a comeback win against them in the playoffs. So it was all bittersweet, but I think Leeds had one up on us in the end because during COVID they came here, and that was the game that secured their promotion back to the Premier League. I know they've been back down since, but that was the game that secured their promotion back to the Premier League, winning 3-1 here and doing a number on us. So I think that would have been a nice day for them.
Yeah. But it had a bit of feeling, didn't it, at the time?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We know the history of it. Anyone that's done their research kind of knows the history of this rivalry. But yeah, it was definitely reignited by Bielsa doing a PowerPoint presentation on all the teams that he spied on.
It's an incredible episode, that, wasn't it? When you look back on that now, as I was this week, the fact that he basically said, "Yep, absolutely," and I spy on every team.
It was like a pantomime villain. It was just, he was so bold with it. He was like, this is what we do in South America, it's done. And I think it was almost, because it hadn't been done before in this country and no one's been caught doing it before, the FA had to act.
Yeah. Here's Brereton Diaz. Clark's now involved as well. Slicked on the top. Brereton Diaz goes for goal, but he got right underneath the attempted volley. I think he was trying to lift it. I mean, if he'd scored with that would have been something extraordinary. In the end, he just sort of looped it up in the air, and goalkeeper Darlow was able to catch it as it dropped into his hands.
Yeah, he just helped it towards goal rather than do anything else. I think if he had his chance again, he probably would have maybe even tried to take a touch, because there are two of them. As Travis has just lifted it over the defenders, it's him and Salverson just there. If he takes the touch, he could potentially have a shot. Because it's only one defender coming back across, he can have the shot or he can maybe square it. But listen, it was a quick thinking. He was hoping Darlow would come out, but Darlow was able to gather easily into his arms.
Here's a ball played forward for Leeds for Metcha inside the penalty area. Challenge comes in on him from Lewis Travis, and it's out of play for what is given as a Derby throw. But in seeing there, Brereton Diaz with that chance, and he did score in the last match against Wrexham. But I mentioned Blackett-Taylor. Brereton Diaz is a player who's got a bit of winning over of the Derby fans to do at the moment.
Yeah, I think Brereton Diaz is a player that, listen, he gives you high energy, he gets up and down the pitch, he offers attacking threat in terms of taking the ball up the pitch. It was once he added the Diaz to his name and he started scoring all those goals at Blackburn that everyone expected more of him. He's been a Premier League player, he's played for Southampton in the Premier League, he's played for Sheffield United in the Premier League. So when you come into Derby, people want to see you produce, and unfortunately with the goals and the assists, he hasn't managed to do that enough. But like I say, in terms of team work ethic, I think John Eustace will always be pleased what he gets from and there's a booking there on the pitch for Fraulo.
Fraulo, yeah. For his challenge on the Bulgarian, I think Gruev.
I think it might have actually been for throwing the ball down on the floor. I'm not sure, because it looked like just as he made the tackle, there wasn't much in the tackle. Anthony Taylor was actually thinking about it because of the frustration, thinking he won a good tackle. He then throws the ball at the floor, and he gets himself an easy yellow card, and has to walk the tightrope now. It's literally a yard away from Anthony Taylor.
Yeah. Clear,
and silly.
In actual seeing it again, he could have got a yellow card for that first challenge on Gruev, but I think you're right. I think it was actually given because he bounced the ball down right in front of Anthony Taylor. So the free kick's taken, it's headed away, then delivered in, but over the top of Nemecha. And it's all the way through for a goal kick. But I think he's new to the league, Curtis. Oscar Fraulo, this 22-year-old Danish under-21 international, signed this month from Borussia Mönchengladbach, but they had him on a 4-week programme. They said it's an independent programme to get him ready to play in English football, but he's progressed so well that John Eustace felt that now was the time, ahead of schedule. Never played before in this league, never been refereed, I assume, before by Anthony Taylor, and he now knows that you can't do that in front of one of our top referees.
Well, you learn lessons on the job, I guess, sometimes, and that's what he's had to do. Unfortunately for him, it's this early in the game, and it's going to be a game that's going to be full of tenacity. You know, Derby are going to have to go hard at times in the game, and when you've got your centre midfielder on a booking that early, it becomes really difficult. But I think the fact he's been fast-tracked with his 4-week progress shows that he must have the tenacity and in his legs to be able to get through the game.
Yeah, well, from tenacity to Tanaka, who's fouled the onrushing Clark, and that's a free kick to Derby in a good position. There's been some good energy from Derby in these early minutes, almost 20 minutes played, still 0-0.
Yeah, they're coming out well on top in those kind of nitty-gritty bits of the game where it's those 50-50s and balls are landing. Derby seem to be coming out on top and enforcing those fouls, but it's another opportunity now, particularly with Joe Ward with his right foot now, to just test that Leeds defence on how they defend their set pieces.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the energy. Bobby Clark, who is playing a little further forward than he has been recently in the league matches, because it's a sort of 3-man central midfield. Forsyth then with the resulting free kick, which is headed wide from what, maybe 8-10 yards out, probably closer than that, 6 yards out, and wide of goal from Danny Bart it was, who got his head to it.
And it's brilliant, because the ball from Forsyth is fantastic. It's Ward that spots the ball, so they then think that Ward's going to play it. Forsyth whips it in really quick, and Danny Bart, the timing of the run's perfect, gets his head to it, but fortunately for him and Derby, just the wrong side of the right-hand post. But yeah, good set piece from Derby, and one for Leeds to think about when they're making all these fouls and free kicks in and around the box. Derby
0, Leeds United 0, but there is not a great deal between these two much-changed teams for this FA Cup third-round tie, the Emirates FA Cup, as Derby have a throw-in halfway inside the Leeds half on the far side of the ground. Just a reminder, by the way, if you haven't been up to speed with this, there is no VAR or semi-automated offside technology in the FA Cup. It is not in use, VAR, until the fifth round onwards, and from that point, semi-automated offside only in Premier League grounds. But we do have goal line technology today, because this being a Championship ground, so Championship and Premier League grounds do have the goal line technology. Derby 0, Leeds United 0. Commentary to come from 2 o'clock, Portsmouth Arsenal. Although, of course, if this goes to extra time, Curtis, then that will impinge on Portsmouth Arsenal. But then a raft of games kicking off at 2:30. That's the most popular kick-off time today. So we will bring you commentary on Portsmouth Arsenal during the course of that, with updates from all of the other ties. Norwich Walsall's on Sports Extra 2. West Ham QPR is on Sports Extra. And then an early start for 6:06 today. Robbie Savage, who is here in TV duties after obviously playing a part in the rise of Macclesfield. Robbie will be with Chris Sutton for 6:06 from round about 5 o'clock, and we'll bring you updates on the Manchester United-Brighton tie during the course of that. Robbie, whose Forest Green side won in the FA Trophy yesterday afternoon, as Derby. Bart heads it forward. Brereton Diaz is dispossessed. Then the ball is passed through the middle. Nectar is onto this, but slips over, much to the amusement of Derby County supporters. And Brereton Diaz is able to play it forward to Clark. Clark now takes it on towards the edge of the penalty area, left side of the box. Blackett-Taylor takes it on. He's into the area. Right foot shot deflected, and that took the pace off it, and it bounced up very nicely for Carl Darlow to clutch it.
Yeah, and it's end to end at the moment, and Mecha, unfortunately, just slips at the wrong time, because if he does manage to get his head up, he's playing a ball into Nonto with acres ahead of him to go in on goal. But as he breaks down the other side, Bobby Clark rolls it to that man, Blackett-Taylor again. And unfortunately, as he cuts in, it's just deflected and an easy save for Darlow.
Leeds it is now coming forward, and it does have an end-to-end element to it. The cross into the box is headed down and away by Langas, and then Leeds are able to pick up possession again. Harrison goes back towards the halfway line. 0-0. Yes, Blackett-Taylor, who came initially on loan from Charlton and then signed permanently in the summer of 2024. He has scored just the one senior competitive goal so far for Derby in that time. But he has caught the eye so far today.
Yeah, I think he's a player that really excited me. When I saw that Derby had signed him, he was a player really excited me. Having played against him at Charlton, I knew what he could offer on the front line. Like I say, unfortunately, he was probably misused as a wing-back, so a lot of his work was probably in the defensive to mid-third, and sometimes when you have to beat 4 or 5 players to get up the pitch, it's not that easy to have your good work at the end. Whereas today, he's been allowed to go 1v1. He's shown the strength of his skills, and it's a big audition for him today to make sure that he's able to capitalise on the rest of this season.
Here comes Jack Harrison again, lays the ball out to the left-hand side, comes infield, Mecha, change of feet, goes for goal, but it wouldn't come down from just into the D, I think it was, when he shot at goal right-footed, but it dipped over the top of the crossbar and didn't trouble Zetterström.
Yeah, patient work from Leeds there, just were happy to play the ball, build, and then as it goes wide to Jack Harrison on the left-hand side, he plays a nice ball central to Nemecha, who's in and around 25 yards out, just outside the box. Nice little roll of the foot just to get past the Derby defenders, and unfortunately, as he tries to open that rifle up, goes a couple of yards over the bar.
It is raining now, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a light haze of rain coming onto this pitch, but yeah, I think they don't need any more elements added to this with the goal, the cold and the wet that's already here from the snow falling out.
It is. It's a fine drizzle that is falling on Pride Park just now. When I opened the curtains this morning, it was very different to yesterday morning in Cheshire, when it was the most fantastic winter's morning yesterday on the way to the Moss Rose, blue skies, lovely frosty rind everywhere. This morning in Derby, grey, wet, dank. I had to go and get my car from the Derbyan Centre, is that what they call it? Yep. The shopping centre?
Yep.
Yeah, it was parked in there as the ball's played forward for... Darlow came well out of his penalty area and actually had to head that down up towards the halfway line. It goes and then deflected out of play on the halfway line. Update on Manchester City, Everton in the WSL from Sophia Hartley.
Manchester City 1, Everton 0, 27 minutes gone and City's fine form continues. It's Caroline Nicoli, beats 3 players, dribbles the ball all the way into the box on the right, strikes low into the back of the net. Manchester City 1, Everton 0.
Thank you very much, Sophia. Derby 0, Leeds United 0 in the FA Cup. Yes, parked my car in the Derbyan Centre last night. They have got an incredible paddle set up in there. Have you seen it?
Yeah, well, I haven't been to it since the paddle, what shall I say, phase has come into Derby. I've not been around the area. I've unfortunately been beside people like you doing the broadcasting.
Well, I can tell you, Curtis,
I believe it's really good.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. And I mean, there must be about 20 courts.
Yeah.
Last night, late in the evening, all full.
Yeah.
This morning, went to get the car. First thing this morning, all of the courts are full. It is an incredible phenomenon.
So there's your business model.
It very much is.
Open a paddle court anywhere, people will come.
Centre.
Yep, open it, they will come.
Nyonto fouled, still 0-0. Harrison is going to take this free kick from just in front of us. Left-footed, it spears away to the far side of the penalty area. Headed across by Biol, but then headed away from danger by Forsyth, the former Scotland international. And then Salverson is challenged back near the edge of his own penalty area. Okafor's trying to get it down. The Leeds United fans feel, I think with some cause, that there might have been a handball there, but it was blasted into him by Okafor from close range, so I'm guessing that's the reason that Anthony Taylor didn't give it.
Yeah, the argument will be unnatural position, but when you're literally 2 yards away and you're stretching to try and win the ball, it was smashed at him, and yeah, it was. I think it was Bobby Clark that it might have hit his arm, but yeah, no way is a handball. But Leeds got possession back, so it's a little bit of an easier decision for Anthony Taylor to make.
Derby 0, Leeds United 0. Tanaka is pushed over by Salverson. I think there's a little bit of frustration in that. Tanaka has certainly been on the end of a few. He himself has put in a few challenges.
I think Salverson, that's his game. With all due respect, he's more the industrious type of forward. When we speak about pressing stats and stuff like that, he'll offer loads of that, but doesn't score enough goals. So I think that's what he's going to offer, and I think the longer, if the game goes on and Leeds become a bit stretched, he's always going to have that one run in behind. It's just what he can do with it when he gets onto it the other end.
Yeah, Salverson has scored 2 goals this season, the Norwegian. Here's Tanaka through the middle, plays it to the edge of the box, chance for Mecha, challenged by Bart, then it's driven across from the left hand side by Pirro from the angle, and was that deflected?
I think it hits the bar.
It actually hit the
post.
bar.
Sorry, the post.
Yeah, the post blasted against the post and glanced away across the 6-yard box. From the Bart challenge, yeah, it did. He hit that fiercely with his left foot, Pirro, and it slapped the front of the post and then flew away across goal and out.
Yeah, it's a great ball from Tanaka through the lines to the Metro, and as he just steps up, he moves it to the left-hand side, but it's a great tackle from Bart. Gets a great tackle, but it falls to Pirro. Tight angle, probably about 4 yards out in terms of to the byline, but on the tight angle, he hits it as hard as he can. Zetterstrom beaten, but not the post, and it goes out down this bottom-hand side for a throw.
Yeah, well, that's the closest we've come to a goal. Derby 0, Leeds 0, and that would have been, if he'd been able to find the back of the net with that would have been an absolute net buster. I'm not sure it's possible to hit the ball much harder than that. Leeds come again, raised by that, and now the shot across. Zetterstrom goes down and makes the save, just shoved it away, and was very fortunate there, and that it didn't fall to a Leeds United player. The shot from Okafor. Gnonto with a cross now. Bart on the stretch, he gets it away. Gnonto back into the penalty area. Bornau pulls it back. Gruev shoots, and it's caught by Zetterstrom. Didn't have the whip on it that he wanted, and the goalkeeper was able to catch it.
Yeah, good bit of sustained pressure, and you can hear that atmosphere coming through now. Leeds fans and the Derby fans all getting to it now, and yeah, that from Okafor did well, cut in on the right hand edge of the box, hit it really well. Good save by Zetterstrom. Unfortunately for him, as it fell down, it landed to 4 or 5 Derby bodies, and they were able to clear. But the game is getting up a little bit more. You hear those fans cheering their team on, and here they come again, Leeds.
Leeds have stepped it up, Curtis, haven't they? As they play it through now. Mecha into the penalty area. Oh! Zetterstrom goes out, catches him, clips him, took his ankles, he went down, and Anthony Taylor's given the penalty. Penalty to Leeds.
And it's another great ball through the lines. I don't know who quite played the ball, but Nemecha gets to it just before Zetterstrom. Zetterstrom knows that he's going to do it, needs to slow himself down a little bit, because even if he gets past him, he's got 4 defenders coming back to cover him as well. Unfortunately, as he just slides, he keeps on sliding. It's Tanaka that makes the initial touch first, and then it's Pirro that plays the ball through, and Nemecha does really well, just takes the touch round, but Zetterstrom catches him with the foot. And it's an easy decision. Oh, hang on, no VAR here. It actually looks like a bit of a dive. No, it's one of those. No, the one angle shows it's a little bit of a dive, but he actually on the right foot, he catches him with the inside of his thigh, and yeah, Nemecha does really well to get the touch. And Zetterstrom, a big shot stopper, has been known to save penalties. Can he stop Joel Pirro here from 12 yards?
Yes, well, Pirro, top scorer in the Championship last season, but there's pressure on this one because he's not scored at all yet this season. But now from the penalty spot, he walks up, and it's saved by Zetterstrom. Still in the area though, Okafor, but he is dispossessed, and Derby bring it away and play it away, and Zetterstrom makes up for the conceding of the penalty with a save, diving to his right, full length. And it's still 0-0.
Yeah, immediately made amends. You know, we speak about goalkeepers nowadays and everything's about what they do with their feet. This guy's an excellent shot stopper, and particularly has saved a couple of penalties over his time at Derby. But Pirro stepped up, looked confident. It was actually quite a well-hit penalty, but Zetterstrom guessed right, and a great save to his right-hand side.
And an interesting approach from Pirro there. I mean, he did walk up to it. He walked up to the ball.
But that's the thing with Pirro, he does that anyway. That's his approach. That's the way he takes his penalties, but it always looks worse when you miss them.
Yeah, and he did miss one. If you remember when Leeds got knocked out of the Carabao Cup against Sheffield Wednesday back in August, penalty shootout, Pirro missed his penalty, or rather had it saved in that match as well. So, as I say, the pressure was on him, and Zetterstrom made the save, and it's still 0-0 with over half an hour played.
Yeah, there's two ways to look at it. You know, it's a player that still has the confidence to step up, but it's a player that needs to get going. And it's interesting to see how Derby use this momentum now. Sometimes you get momentum from other people's downfall, and you know, here you got Ethan Ampadu about to take a long throw on this right-hand side. Yeah,
and he can hurl them, can't he? Here it is, into the area. Bornau heads it on, but heads it up in the air. And now Mr. Popular, Jakob Vidal Zetterstrom, is cheered as he jumps high and catches the ball. The Swedish international, as he is now, Zetterstrom. But as Curtis said, he has this reputation for being a shot stopper, maybe not the best with his feet, as the ball is played back to him now on his right foot. The Derby goalkeeper takes it out to the edge of his penalty area and hits this downfield. Bornau, Forsyth plays it forward. Blackett tailors onto this again against Bornau, left side into the penalty area he goes, looking to get onto his right foot. The challenge comes in on him from Gnonto, and then the shot is in! Brereton Diaz! The ball fell to the Chile international, who rolled it in right-footed, a sure finish, and it's the championship side who have the lead. Moments after Leeds had a penalty saved at one end, Derby take the lead at the other. Brereton Diaz, and it's Derby 1, Leeds 0.
And we just spoke about how momentum can change from someone else's downfall. Leeds missed a penalty, Derby got up the other end, and again it's Blackett Taylor. He had some great moments in this game, but this one, he knows once he gets into the box, Bornau has to be really careful at what he does. He's able to get in, and actually might have asked for a penalty himself because he was tripped from behind. But as it lands, Brereton Diaz doesn't think about it. He comes onto the ball with his left foot, smashes it into the bottom corner, and it's a great goal for Derby to take the lead against this Leeds side.
Yes, and Brereton Diaz now scores 2 in successive games. Well, we might have had a case for a penalty, but from the angle there were a couple of defenders in there as well, Curtis, but arrived onto it on his left foot, and the finish was very good.
Yeah, the finish was good, just because he actually is turning around to the referee asking for the penalty as well, and quickly sees the ball lands to him. He's thinking, I'm not on penalties, I'll go and score this one, and with his left foot just comfortably, it's almost like a safety side foot, puts it on target, and because Darlow is literally right at his front post, he managed to get half a hand to it, but not enough, and it's 1-0 to Derby.
Yeah, I was hoping on our little screen here they were going to show him in the aftermath of the goal, because as we've mentioned, he's not been Mr. Popular this season. You know, Brereton Diaz has been booed by the Derby County fans here at Pride Park this season as Leeds come forward, now 1-0 down. And Mecha in the Derby left-back area plays it back to Tanaka, and he goes square to Gruev, and the Bulgarian goes square to Harrison. Harrison takes it up, shoots, it's deflected right across the box. It might have fallen into the path of Gnonto, but in fact I think it sort of spun away from him down into the full-back position. Still Leeds. Tanaka goes for goal, and Zetterstrom, diving down to his left, knows that he can pull his hands away from that because it's scooting wide of the post, and it remains Derby 1, Leeds 0.
Yeah, a few Leeds players there just lining up. First of all, it was Jack Harrison and Gruev that were having a look to get a shot. Jack Harrison got his shot off from the left-hand side of the D. As he gets it off, it's deflected off 2-3 people, and was just that probably a yard too far for Gnonto. He's not the tallest man, so in terms of trying to stretch for that one, probably couldn't get his foot onto it. But as he come back out, lays it to Tanaka, hits it well, but past the left-hand side post of Zetterstrom.
Let's get an update from Chelsea West Ham in the WSL. Charlotte Richardson.
Chelsea 2, West Ham 0. Another hammer blow issued by the reigning champions. A moment to forget for visiting goalkeeper Kinga Shkamik, dwelling too long on the ball. Her clearance ricochets off the back of the onrushing Lauren James, rewarded for her aggressive press out of possession. Chelsea 2, West Ham 0.
And these are the other current scores in the WSL. Aston Villa 0, Brighton 1. That is the match that's on Sports Extra 2. Manchester City winning 1-0 against Everton, and it is Tottenham 0, Leicester 0. Commentary to come on Portsmouth Arsenal. Can't be a million miles away from the team news from Fratton Park, I would think. Chris Wise and Mark Schwarzer will be there. Derby are winning 1-0 here, and the goal scorer Ben Brereton Diaz has put pressure on Leeds, who very nearly lost possession. They have lost possession, and now just Harrison able to step in and win it against Lewis Travis, and is able to get it away. But from a position where Curtis, Leeds really stepped it up, didn't they, in the build-up to then winning the penalty, but then the penalty saved. Now we find ourselves with Derby in front.
Yeah, you were just waiting for Leeds to just get that clear chance to actually, put Zetterstrom at risk and give him a save to make. But it came from the penalty, which unfortunately Pirro missed. But since then, Derby have got their tails up. Again, every 50-50 they seem to be winning. They're after everything, and yeah, they'll be happy right now, but they'll still want to see this game out 1-0 at half-time.
Yeah, and a good outcome this for John Eustace in terms of Blackett-Taylor involved in the build-up to the goal and Brereton Diaz scoring it. Harrison, though, for Leeds, turns edge of the area onto his left foot and then just lays it to his left. The ball is clipped across towards the back post. Gnonto gets his head to it, but important touch from Bobby Clark in the middle of that to just take it away for Derby. Leeds back in possession again. Harrison out to the left-hand side. Okafor, right-footed ball in, glanced by Bornau, but that is down and across the face of goal and wide from 6 yards, and he puts his hands to his face after that flashed wide.
Yeah, Gruev, a great ball in, and as Bornau gets there, he makes a really good run because he comes to that right-back position, but as he gets there, he just probably gets under it a little bit and can't quite direct his header. More comes off the top of his head than actually a flick, but yeah, well wide of Zetterstrom's post.
Back to Chelsea West Ham in the WSL. Charlotte Richardson.
Neil, the dominant hosts in cruise control, running rampant down the right-hand side, able to lace the ball into the 6-yard area where Alicia Thompson lurked to tap in from close range. Chelsea 3, West Ham 0.
Derby County 1, Leeds United 0 here, so it would be Derby, not Leeds, in tomorrow night's 4th round draw, which is going to be sometime after 6:30, and you will hear it on Drive. So Macclesfield fans will know that already, won't they? They'll have worked that out, what time the draw is, to find out who they are going to play in the 4th round of the competition. But that's tomorrow night in Drive, before 5 Live Sport brings you commentary from Anfield on Liverpool against Barnsley. Forsyth with the long throw for Derby. Bart tried to flick it on, and then also nodded on from an ankle by Salverson, but Darlow is able to claim the ball. Underarm it out to Harrison, Jack Harrison. Forward now to Okafor, and then Leeds go back into their own half. Yes, Derby, winners of the FA Cup, as I mentioned, in 1946. Leeds, like Derby, winners just the once in 1972 in the centenary final when Don Revy's team won 1-0 against Arsenal. Not one of the greatest finals. Alan Clark scored the only goal. Ball is played by Pirro straight out of play over the top of Okafor, so it's a throw into Derby, halfway inside their own half. But the last time Leeds, Curtis, were in the FA Cup final was the next year, which is actually the first final I remember watching, which was 1973, one of the great finals, one of the great final upsets when Bob Stokoe's team won against Leeds United. Ian Porterfield scored the goal. David Coleman's commentary. Porterfield and Jimmy Montgomery made the double save. Here's Gnonto up to the edge of the area, shoots for goal, but it's straight as Zetterstrom, who's able to parry it down and pick it up. Either side of him, that would have tested Zetterstrom.
Yeah, it was a wobbly one, as you say, just a bit of up and down from Gnonto. Caught it really well, but luckily straight as Zetterstrom, who uses his palms to take the sting out of it and then gathers it.
Tottenham winning 1-0 against Leicester in the WSL in one of the 12 o'clock kickoffs, and then a foul by Salverson, and it's a free kick to Leeds halfway inside their own half. What's the first FA Cup final you can remember watching as a little boy?
As a little boy, the first I really remember is probably 94. 4-0 Manchester United versus Chelsea is the one that sticks in my head. Yeah, that's the one that sticks out for me.
Okafor back to the edge of the area. Shot flashed in from Pirro. Comes back to Okafor, but the offside flag was up against against Okafor, and it is a free kick to Derby, but another chance for Leeds. Comes and goes.
Okafor, some good work down the left. Didn't look like there was much danger, but Pirro does really well. Just manages to manipulate 2 or 3 yards of space, gets it onto his trusted left foot, and just smashes it towards goal. Zetterstrom makes a great save down at his bottom right-hand corner, and as it comes back, it's just offside from Okafor from having played that ball. But yeah, it's another warning sign from Leeds and showing that Pirro hasn't lost that confidence. So it's just about Derby making sure that they keep this door closed, particularly until half-time, because they know Leeds are going to have a big reaction coming in that second half.
That was a good save, actually, by Zetterstrom, because I think it took a little deflection.
Yeah, a little nick on its way through. So, yeah, he's shown his worth so far. Even though, listen, he gave away the penalty, he's showing some great work at the moment.
Yeah, Swedish international, and he has Bornau now down the right, getting the cross into the near post, but too close, straight at the Derby goalkeeper, and just pat it down. I know there's a feeling that among Derby fans that they feel they've got a good one in Zetterstrom.
But Bornau doesn't look too comfortable running back. He ran up the line, and he just kind of gestured towards his groin area that he might have an issue, because Corey Blackett-Taylor chased all the way back from him, and as he's put the ball in, but he doesn't look comfortable, and maybe a sub might have to be made by Leeds.
Yeah, he's indicating that very thing now with that sort of twizzling of the hand motion. Here's Gnonto, his ball back to Tanaka. It's just overhit. Tanaka very nearly latched onto it. Would have been a nice move, but in the end, no end product. So Derby leading Leeds by 1-0. And we've actually got the board here from the fourth official, Darren England, who's very warmly wrapped up down there. 1 minute of added time. I think maybe Leeds are going to see it through to half-time before making the change.
I think they will. They'll maybe, because they might have an idea of maybe wanting to change the shape or something. I don't really know what they want to do, but Justin James has gone out to warm up. So yeah, it's interesting to see what they do for this James Justin, not Justin James, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has gone out to warm up to make sure that he's ready if he is called upon.
Yes, that's a little trap that I myself have fallen into.
The thing is, he played for my old club Luton Town, so I do know his name. It's just JJ is always an awkward one.
Yeah. Well, there's a few of them, aren't there, as the ball is played forward, and Blackett-Taylor, the Leeds fans feel that Bornau was fouling Blackett-Taylor there, but referee Anthony Taylor has said only a throw-in to Leeds United. Whenever you've got a player who's got 2 names that can be both first names, that is a tricky one. Well, there's the half-time whistle here at Pride Park in the gentle rain. John Eustace's side have their noses in front. That little period was that sort of 2 or 3 minute period there has formed the narrative for this first half, where Leeds United won the penalty when Zetterstrom came out, conceded it, and then Pirro saw his penalty saved by the Derby County goalkeeper, and just moments later at the other end, Ben Brereton Diaz scoring the only goal. Curtis Davis.
Yeah, it was good work from Derby in that time, and they looked like, again, they looked confident, they looked like they wanted to keep going forward and cause this Leeds side problems, but they have allowed shots on target. That's a worry. As the game goes on, Leeds are going to get more and more open. They're going to allow themselves to push more and more forward. So it'll be a long 45, but I feel it's going to be one where Derby are going to have to batten down the hatches and hold on.
Yep, as a cup tie, not bad so far, and very good for Derby in terms of the scoreline, which is 1-0 against Premier League Leeds United.
And talk about taking advantage, Curtis, of a good 2 minutes, really, because that's what they did. It was a great save from the penalty.
Yeah, a really good save, and that's one thing I can say for Zetterstrom, having watched him a lot and seen him a lot. All these, I say, modern day goalkeepers, it's judged on how they do with their feet. He's a very good shot stopper, sometimes likes the flashy camera save, shall we say, sometimes, but I've seen him save penalties here before, and yeah, as he's gone down, he makes the mistake for the penalty, but he's got the chance to make amends. And fortunately for him, it's a Pirro that currently doesn't really have that confidence of scoring lots of goals. And yeah, even though he hits it well, Zetterstrom gets right, and a great save from him down at the right post. But a momentum swing, as I said before, sometimes somebody's downfall and a team's downfall by missing that penalty just got the Derby fans off their feet a little bit. And then just a moment of madness in the box where Blackett-Taylor and Brereton Diaz, 2 players we spoke about that have got to prove themselves at Derby, both came to the fore and fortunately Brereton Diaz puts it in the bottom right-hand corner for Derby County.
Second half on the way then with John and Curtis at 2 o'clock. We're at Fratton Park. Portsmouth against Arsenal. Then there are plenty of 2:30 games in the FA Cup today. West Ham, QPR, Norwich, Walsall, Mansfield go to Sheffield United, Swansea at home to West Brom and it's Hull Blackburn, and then at 4:30 it is Manchester United against Brighton. Let's go into the Women's Super League. Miserable first half for West Ham at Chelsea. Charlotte Richardson.
Yeah, we're approaching the half-time whistle. Chelsea 4, West Ham 0. The reigning champions setting the tone in the opening 60 seconds, building enough pressure down the right-hand side for Uendo to tap into her own net. A similar pressure led to Chelsea's second. Lauren James pressing the keeper. Her clearance smacked off the Chelsea player into the goal. Alyssa Thompson's tapping from close range and Sandy Baltimore's stunning strike, schooling a really struggling West Ham side. Rita Guarino's first half in charge of the West Ham side, hammering home the challenge that they have to stay in this division. Chelsea 4, West Ham 0.
And the league leaders are winning as they approach the break. Sophia Hartley.
Yeah, just minutes out from half-time. They've looked really calm and composed in their attack, and they got the goal they were looking for in Brazilian Caroline Nicoli. Martinina Fernandez did get a goal ruled out just before we were approaching half-time, but the referee blew the whistle for a foul on keeper Yamashita, so Everton missed out on that chance to equalise. We have had some minutes added because Everton's Katia Shnoish has been stretchered off the pitch with her hands over her face. It looks like her foot got caught awkwardly on the ball. As we're approaching half-time here, Manchester City 1, Everton 0.
The two other games going on have reached half-time, and Brighton are a goal up at Villa, and Spurs lead Leicester by a goal to 0. One other bit of football news for you, and Conor Bradley is expected to miss the rest of Liverpool's season after suffering what is being described as a significant knee injury in Thursday's draw with Arsenal. He will undergo surgery in coming days. We'll go round all the later FA Cup ties and the big game in Scotland that's first up, Leaders Hearts at Dundee, after the latest BBC News with Andrew Strachan at 9 minutes to 1.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Iran's president has accused the US and Israel of attempting to cause disorder and chaos by ordering riots in the country. On Saturday, Mr. Trump posted on social media that Iran was looking at freedom and the US stood ready to help. Iran says any US military intervention will be met with retaliation. 4 people, including 3 teenagers, have been killed and another 5 injured in a car crash in Bolton. Greater Manchester Police say 2 cars are thought to have been involved in a head-on collision in the early hours of this morning. The former British ambassador to Washington, Peter Mandelson, has refused to apologise to Jeffrey Epstein's victims for continuing their friendship despite the late sex offender's initial conviction. In his first interview since being sacked last year, Lord Mandelson told the BBC that because he was gay, he'd been kept separate from the sexual side of Epstein's life. And the Conservatives are calling for a ban on under-16s accessing social media. Last month, Australia became the first country to introduce the policy.
It's time for more of this.
Are you serious?
The Traitors Uncloaked is the only place you'll see players react as they find out who's been deceiving them.
I knew it!
It's the only place for official behind-the-scenes deep dives into the latest plot twists.
That is brilliant.
And it's the only place where we chat to famous fans and players from series gone by.
I wouldn't want to be a traitor.
Oh, it's the best part.
No,
that's what a traitor would say.
Yeah.
The Traitors Uncloaked, the official visualised companion podcast with me, Ed Gamble. Watch on iPlayer, listen for more on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport.
The FA Cup with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
They've reached half-time in the Women's Super League at Chelsea and they lead West Ham by 4 goals to 0, and it's just gone half-time at Manchester City as well, who are 1-0 up on Everton. Let's switch to the Masters Snooker. It begins today. Jamie Broughton is watching at London's Ali Pali.
Afternoon, Mark. Well, the big news ahead of the tournament starting was Ronnie O'Sullivan's decision to pull out on Friday night due to medical reasons, and it's the second year running the record 8-time champion hasn't played at this tournament. That was certainly disappointing news for many snooker fans, as his opening match against Neil Robertson on Wednesday night was arguably the pick of the first round action. Robertson will now play the Scottish Open champion Chris Wakeling. This afternoon, Sean Murphy begins his title defence against Wu Yiza, and tonight Mark Selby faces Xiao Guodong.
Thank you very much, Jamie. You can watch the snooker on BBC Two this afternoon. Let's go into Scotland. Hearts still at the top of the Scottish Premiership, but Kenny Crawford, given what Celtic did yesterday under Martin O'Neill, this feels like a very big afternoon for them at Dundee.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mark. It's a tricky remit for Derek McInnes's Hearts as they try to re-establish that 6-point lead at the top of the Premiership, because they visit a Dundee team who, despite being 9th in the league, have won 3 games on the bounce over the last fortnight and have real momentum. They're managed by Stephen Presley. Coventry City, Fleetwood Town and Carlisle United fans might remember him. He's managed them in the past. He's actually had an 8-year stint at Hearts as a centre-back when he was a player. Hearts make one change in defence because of an injury to Harry Milne, so Jamie McCart steps in. A new signing, Chesnikov, the Kazakhstan international winger, is on the bench, and for Dundee, Finlay Robertson replaces Jan Danda in midfield because Danda is on loan from Hearts. This one kicks off at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, 2 o'clock start there. 4:30 at Pittodrie for Aberdeen against Rangers. We'll be with our reporter Martin Dowden there a little bit later on. Let's go around all the FA Cups that get underway at 2:30, starting at the London Stadium, where West Ham, and I'll be fascinated what the atmosphere is going to be like here, Aaron Paul. West Ham at home to QPR.
I mean, Mark, when the West Ham boss is calling this one a good chance to win a football match, it's kind of a damning indictment of where this football club are. The Hammers are in absolutely wretched form in the Premier League. The FA Cup will offer distraction from league matters, but it won't mask the troubles that currently face the Irons. Queen's Park Rangers will be backed by 9,000 plus today as they cross the capital, but they're in the midst of an injury crisis. Julien Stéphan, their boss, says this will be his side's toughest test of the season, but it's worth noting no club has been knocked out of the FA Cup at the third round stage more times than QPR.
Walsall are third in League Two and will probably look to take advantage of Norwich of the Championship's poor home form. Paul Scott.
Yeah, two sides who would perhaps prefer to focus on the league this season. Norwich are in danger of falling through the Championship trapdoor. Walsall, well, they're hoping to escape League Two at the right end, meaning this could be a League One fixture next season. As it is, Matt Sadler's Saddlers looking to reach the fourth round for only the second time in 10 years, but they have lost their last 2 in the league. The Canaries, they're much improved under Philippe Clement. They've won 4, drawn 3 of his 11 matches in charge, but confidence is fragile, so there could be an upset in the crisp Norfolk air.
Go to Bramall Lane next. Neither side here have played since New Year's Day, but League One Mansfield go to Sheffield United having won their last 3, so they'll think they'll have a chance here. Adam Cottier.
And they'll have nearly 5,000 of their supporters here to spur them on. They also have a manager with know-how. Nigel Clough marked 5 years in charge of Mansfield in November when he was the manager here at Sheffield United 12 years ago. He took them to an FA Cup semi-final. Sheffield United reached that stage again in 2022. At the moment, they're still mending broken pieces after an abject start to this season. Any fears of relegation from the Championship have been eased, though, by stabilising form under Chris Wilder.
2 all Championship ties as well at 2:30. Let's go to the first of them. Hull against Blackburn. Rob Law.
An afternoon where no matter how many layers you have on, Mark, it's simply not enough amongst the rain, sleet and the snow we've had on Humberside. The important thing to say, though, is the match is on, so no repeat of last weekend when the tie against Watford was called off 20 minutes before kick-off. Now, today marks Hull's 150th home tie in the FA Cup, their very first back in 1905 when Ambrose Langley's side thrashed Grimethorpe United 8-1, a time when the official matchday programme would have set you back 2 whole pence. More recent history points to Blackburn's 3-0 win here in the league earlier this season. Jurkovic, the Hull City head coach, says they're out for revenge this afternoon.
And the other all Championship tie, and I'm sorry about this, Laura Kenyon, but crikey, this is a difficult sell. 17th against 18th in the Championship. Swansea against managerless West Brom. Good luck.
Thank you. I was at Stoke Coventry yesterday.
Oh my God,
so there's
were
a theme.
Oh dear, what a difficult weekend.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see. Ryan Mason, well, he was sacked, wasn't he, after the defeat to Leicester, a 10th consecutive away defeat for West Brom. Multiple FA Cup winners, 1968 the most recent, their last major trophy. But as you say, going to need more than a sprinkling of magic to conjure the spirit of the FA Cup. The two sides, they met just 10 days ago in the Championship. Swansea coming out on top on New Year's Day. They're aiming for a 5th consecutive home win, Mark.
Stay strong.
Thank you.
Talk later. You can follow every game on your local BBC radio station or on BBC Sounds, or with live updates on the BBC Sport app. So if you want to find the commentary on Sounds, you scroll through the radio dial and tap on the match that you want, or just search the name for the local BBC radio station through the app. Our next commentary after Derby against Leeds is Portsmouth against Arsenal. Chris Wise and Mark Schwartz are our commentary team here, and Portsmouth are struggling, Chris.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're outside the Championship bottom 3, but their issues are twofold, really. Not only are the goals and the performances a little short, but also the injury list is very long for them at the moment, and they are missing key players, most notably Murphy, the winger, who is such a crucial part of what Portsmouth have going forward, creativity. There's no Callum Lang either, but we're talking sort of 8-9 first-team players, or at least players that would be in the Portsmouth squad on a regular basis that are not available to their manager, John Messino, today. So what looked already like a tall order against the Premier League leaders now looks an even bigger task for Portsmouth today in the Cup.
I think the original feeling, Mark, wasn't it, that John Messino had done a really good job at Portsmouth. Then there will be some who still think he continues to do a good job, but there are probably a few who are starting to question him a bit, that there's a bit of pressure on him.
Yeah, I think that's what the feeling is generally around here, is that just of late there's a little bit more pressure on him now. I think he has done a great job here at Portsmouth, and of course what they need to do is stabilise themselves, stay in this Championship, get themselves away from the relegation zone. And today is an interesting fixture, isn't it? I mean, it's a one that obviously it stacks up right against them. Nobody really expects them to get a result, but that's what the FA Cup's about, you know, creating the big shocks, as we already saw yesterday.
Yeah, but you can't see it, can you? I mean, look.
Did you see yesterday's happening? Macclesfield winning? Did you see that?
No, probably not. Although within the first 10 or 15 minutes, you started to get an inkling that there may be something, because the Palace were dreadful, weren't they? You just can't. But you can't see whatever guys Arsenal are in. You can't see them being dreadful, can you?
Normally no. And you look at there's a really interesting stat I just came across. Portsmouth are winless in their last 22 games against Arsenal in all competitions, which is a bit of a damning stat, isn't it? And so, yeah, it does pile up against them. But look, it's the FA Cup. We can dream, can't we?
We can. Without going trying to be negative compared to your positivity.
You are.
Oh, I know I am. But the point being, whatever lineup you get in front of you, or you may already have in front of you, or are just being given to you, whatever team Arsenal put, even if they changed all 11 from the game against Liverpool on Thursday, that's still a strong 11 because of their squad depth, isn't it?
I was going to say, I actually have the team, Mark, so I can flash that to you now. So from that Arsenal team that lined up against Liverpool on Thursday night, there are 10 Arsenal changes. So the only player that remains in the starting 11 today at Fratton Park is Gabriel. So the Arsenal team, Kepa in goal, White, Gabriel, Norgard we think is going to play centre-half along with Gabriel, and then Lewis Skelly. The three midfielders appear to be Marino, Waneri and Eza, and then Martinelli and Madueke either side of Jesus. That is a really attacking Arsenal lineup today, and Kai Havertz, by the way, is back on the bench.
OK, we'll talk more about that in a little while. Second half has just started at Pride Park. John Murray.
Yes, it has, with Derby County kicking off, the Championship side who lead this tie by 1-0 against Leeds United. But we've seen a couple of changes at the start of the second half, one apiece in terms of the teams. Oscar Fraulo, the debutant who was booked in the first half, has been taken off by John Eustace, and Ebu Adams, the vice-captain, the former captain, has come on into the midfield for him. And Leeds, who are looking to play it forward, but actually it bounces back, and now it's being taken on by Bobby Clark, who gives it out to Blackett. Taylor on the left-hand side, 3 step-overs, then a shot that didn't live up to the hype, shall we say. He mishit it, and it was an easy take for Darlow diving down to his right.
I think he was a little bit dizzy from his own step-overs there. Did really well against James Justin, has just come onto the pitch and just got past him, but just snatched at the shot rather than then having the composure to just try and bend it, snatch at the shot, and an easy save for Darlow is front post.
Yes, it's almost Michael Jackson-esque, wasn't it? by the time we got, were there 3 or were there 4 in there?
Oh, he did that many. I was dizzy.
Here comes Leeds down the right, and the ball is eventually deflected out for what is a corner. Actually, it's come off the Derby defender after it was played for. The other change, we should say, James Justin coming on for Sebastian Bornau, which wasn't a surprise with Bornau seemingly injuring his groin just before half-time.
Yeah, James Justin, just immediately in this half anyway, looks to have settled into a right of a 3, so a bit more orthodox than what Bornau seemed to be in the first half. So let's just see how the half pans out, because that might allow Jack Harrison to get a bit more forward in this half. Yeah,
it was Harrison who burst forward there and won the corner. Harrison himself will take this from the right-hand side, arms raised, left-footed corner into the edge of the 6-yard box. It's flashed past everyone, whether in a white Derby shirt or a blue of Leeds, and it's all the way behind for a goal kick.
Yeah.
Sorry,
a little hopeful kick from Ampadu, trying to flick it back towards goal, but past everyone, and as you say, out for a goal kick.
So the Derby team now, Zetterstrom, who saved the penalty in the first half, the Pirro penalty, and Derby with a back 4 of Ward, Langas, Bart and Forsyth. Then in midfield, Travis, the captain, and Ebu Adams, who's just come on, Brereton Diaz and Blackett-Taylor, Clark and Salverson, and the Leeds team, Darlow in goal, as Curtis says, with Justin coming on, Diol and Ampadu, the 3 central defenders, Nyonto on the right, Harrison on the left, Tanaka and Gruev, and then that front line of Mecha, Pirro and Okafor, as Leeds have won a free kick halfway inside their own half for a challenge on Nyonto.
Yeah, he's rolling around. It's Craig Forsyth. The ball's up and it's looping, and it's a high one in terms of where the ball is to win the ball. Forsyth has to go with his foot kind of dangling in the air, and Anthony Taylor doesn't look too concerned. I think he does catch him on the side of the ankle. I think Nonto's making the most of it, if I'm being honest, but Anthony Taylor didn't see a yellow card for Forsyth, which I think he's probably got away with one there with actually catching him on the side of the ankle.
I think if we were watching a Champions League match, that would have been a yellow card. Actually, if Anthony Taylor was refereeing in the Champions League, he might have shown a yellow card for that, but he didn't today. I thought Tim Robinson yesterday refereed the Macclesfield Crystal Palace match brilliantly. He let a few go, didn't he?
But it is really interesting to see that it shouldn't happen, but football's football. But it is just different levels to different games, and maybe understanding the atmosphere of this game, Anthony Taylor just ruled that one out really quick, as he has done with other tackles.
Here's Clark now, Bobby Clark, who tried to slip the ball forward to Blackett-Taylor, but it was cut out by Leeds, who will now themselves come forward on the right-hand side. Here is the cross, but it's overhit all the way across the penalty area, and out of play by Justin, his first marauding effort down the right-hand side. So it's out of play for a throw into Derby County. Yes, in the old days we would have said on the continent that would have been a yellow card. Derby 0, Leeds 0. Curtis Davis, who was, you were just telling me, 6 years a player here at Pride Park. And you did remind me, of course, you were here when Liam Rossinho was here, so what do you make of all that?
Oh, absolutely buzzing for him, as a former teammate as well of mine at Hull City. Absolutely delighted for him to get the opportunity to show what he's got at Chelsea.
Here's Pirro, who shoots from distance, but a bouncing shot, must have taken a deflection actually, which helped to carry it wide, so it's a corner from the right-hand side. It is, for Liam Rossinho, what a brilliant opportunity.
Oh, a massive opportunity. You know, if we had said that he would have got this opportunity after having been sacked by Hull 18 months ago, he would have absolutely laughed you out of the building himself. But he's always been determined, always been striving for this moment to try and get to the top. But the fact that he's done it so quickly as a young English manager of colour, is amazing.
Yes, it is. It will be a fascinating journey, as they say. Here's Harrison for Leeds with this corner into the near post, an attempted flick on, but that didn't work. It was deflected back to Harrison, who's coming from an offside position. Cheers from the Derby fans, and it is a free kick to Derby. Yes, I was listening just before I went out to get something to eat last night to Pat Nevin and Ali Bruce Ball, who were at the Charlton-Chelsea game, and the speculation was that was quite a risky team selection from him for his first match last night, and then once we'd had something to eat, there we are, they've won it 5-1.
Yeah, I think risky team selection, you could go as strong as you want, but there's players in that team throughout the team, even players that can't get in the squads, that should be able to beat a Charlton team, with all due respect. So it's always a risky team, but with his first game, there's always going to be big eyes on it anyway.
Yes, mind you, we said that about Crystal Palace yesterday.
Yeah, true.
As the rain increases in intensity here under the grey skies of the East Midlands on this clammy, dank, cold afternoon. Blackett-Taylor is challenged, loses possession. Leeds United tried to come forward, but it breaks away from Gruev as the challengers come in. Now here on the left-hand side, Okafor trying to find a position. That's out of play. That is given as a Leeds United throw. And Brereton Diaz is involved, probably unnecessarily, with a little bit of push and shove on Okafor, and the two of them are chuntering away to one another. Anthony Taylor comes across, pats Okafor on the tummy. Just a little word of caution, I think. Comes back to Ampadu, playing in this defensive position, which of course he is very much able to do. And then he, with his right foot, plays it over there to the right-hand side. And back it comes, all the way to the Leeds United captain, Ampadu, once again. Leeds, who are now 8 points above the relegation zone in the Premier League after their recent run, despite the defeat against Newcastle in that thrilling finish. Here's Brereton Diaz now for Derby, down the right-hand side, goes for the pass infield, trying to find Salveson, but he mishit it really. And Biol was able to step forward, gives it to Tanaka, and the Japanese international is carrying it a long, long way. Then the pass to the right-hand side to Justin. Justin into the penalty area, onto his left foot, shoots, but that's blocked. Comes back to the edge of the area. Now the chance to shoot from Okafor, but he snatched at it, edge of the D, and slashed it well wide of the goal. I think it might have gone out of play closer to the corner flag than it did to the goal. So it is a goal kick, and it is Derby 1, Leeds 0 here on BBC 5 Live in the FA Cup third round.
Yeah, initial break from Brereton Diaz, found himself in space down the right hand side, and as I said, he can stretch the game. Took it about 20 yards forward, but then just took the decision too early to play a ball across, and then Leeds transitioned into an attack themselves, but Okafor snatching at it, other players snatching at it. James Justin probably could have played Gnonto in on the box, but fair play, Derby have defended it well.
Leeds feel that Gnonto was fouled off the ball by Forsyth, and that's not his first challenge. And similarly in the middle, Pirro was then fouled, but I think referee Taylor has given it for the foul off the ball on Gnonto. So Craig Forsyth must be certainly flirting with a yellow card.
Well, surely if you're saying off the ball, he's pulled him back, which I thought that's a yellow card. Again, he's my mate, but that's a yellow card all day long. He's pulled him back clearly, and it's good to see Anthony Taylor actually give that once nothing comes of Pirro's pass, the next pass. So I'm surprised that Forsyth has got away with one there, because again, as we said about those relationships and 1v1 situations, if Gnonto's running at Forsyth with a yellow card, it's a different afternoon for Craig.
And there's no question, Curtis, that Ethan Ampadu, as the Leeds captain, as he runs along with Anthony Taylor, is probably making that very point. Why wasn't a yellow card? Anyway, the free kick is played in. Leeds have it on the edge of the box, but then it's whacked away up in the air by Salveson, and challenge for and won back here on the left-hand side by James Justin. And then forward now, Tanaka turns it, and a little ball to the edge of the area. Pirro allows it to run. Gnonto shoots and lashes it in. That's a finish, and it's 1-1. Right foot, Zetterstrom. I don't think he saw it as it flashed past him. And it's Derby 1, Leeds 1.
And finally, Gnonto's found that bit of space to have that shot to get it away. But it's the work of Pirro with the step over and letting it go through his leg that just creates it. It's a really scrappy play. The ball was unable to be cleared by Derby. Leeds had possession, Derby had possession, and then eventually Gruev puts his foot on the ball. It's Biol that plays a ball through to Pirro, just around the edge of the box in that number 10 position. What he does so cleverly is let it go through his legs, and Gnonto's there all alone, 10-12 yards out, and he smashes it into the back of the net. Zetterstrom, no chance. 1-1.
That was an absolute screamer, wasn't it? The shot from Gnonto, he could not have hit that more purely. And as I say, Zetterstrom, I mean, it was like a blur as it flew past him. So it's 1-1.
Yeah, I think there's an issue. The ball's flat. I just see Joe Ward just placed the ball at a player. I was thinking, what's wrong? But I think the ball's flat. But yeah, the strike from Gnonto, it's one of those. As a player, you're licking your lips. Even me as a centre half, I would have been licking my lips because of the ball from BO initially. By the time it gets to Gnonto, it's just rolling lovely, straight onto his right foot, just a clean as you like strike. Doesn't actually go too far away from Zetterstrom, but because of the power, there's no way he can react quick enough. And a great strike by Gnonto, and yeah, he gets his goal after being in a little bit of trouble with Craig Forsyth over the last few minutes.
As Brereton Diaz is able to take that long pass, and Ampadu got a touch as well as he controlled it. It hit the Leeds man, bounced behind. Darlow couldn't keep it in, and it's going to be a corner to Derby from the right-hand side. If I remember from my FA Cup trivia from finals past, I've got a feeling that, you know, the old-style balls, I think the ball famously burst in a cup final that Derby were involved in. But Gary to my left, I can see his fingers going. He's checking to see if that's right. So the Leeds fans in good voice after that brilliant finish from Gnonto, that excellent piece of skill from Pirro. Here's the corner, which is glanced by Salveson all the way across the face of goal and wide after the delivery from Joe Ward from the corner.
At first it looked really well worked because the technique that Joel Ward used there has been a right footer taking it as an outswinger. He drove the ball really low. Salveson makes the good move out towards the penalty spot, and he gets the flick, and you're just waiting for somebody to be there at the back post to have a free header and tap it in. Nobody read the script, so maybe it wasn't worked on as much as I thought, but yeah, good work from Ward and Salveson, just unfortunately no one on the end of it.
So 1-1 it is after Willie Gnonto's first goal of the season. 9 goals last season, that's the first one of this campaign, and boy did he hit it. Actually, as it's played forward now into the penalty area, Mecha, but good defending from Ward. However, played back to Okafor. Okafor tees it up. Pirro with a shot. Good save, Zetterstrom, but then in from Tanaka. And Leeds have scored twice in the matter of minutes, and now lead by 2 goals to 1. The Premier League side have turned it around, and 5,000 Leeds fans inside Pride Park celebrate. Derby 1, Leeds 2.
Yeah, but they've made the most of their momentum there. It's another great ball through the middle there, which has happened too often against Derby. Ball's being threaded through the defence, and it's Joel Ward that just manages to just put off Nemecha, but as he cuts back, he plays it back to Pirro, who takes on a fantastic shot from about 12 yards out towards the bottom corner. He thinks he's getting his goal today, but Zetterstrom has other ideas. Zetterstrom makes a big save towards the bottom left-hand side, but as it lands, Tanaka is on his toes, and he's there to get the rebound, and he taps it in from 2 yards. 2-1 Leeds, and after this first 5-10 minutes of this half, you wouldn't say they wouldn't deserve it.
Very good save from Zetterstrom, fully extended to his left. That was a fingertip save for the low shot, which was bound for the bottom corner, but he's unfortunate in that Tanaka was sharp. Defender was in there as well, but Tanaka got there first. And Tanaka converts what is his 3rd goal of the season. In the WSL, it's now Aston Villa 2, Brighton 1. 2 goals in little over a minute for Villa from Rachel Daly and Kirsty Hansen. So Aston Villa leading Brighton by 2 goals to 1. You can listen to that now on Sports Extra 2. And John Eustace is going to make a couple of changes, and David Ozil is going to make his return on loan from Crystal Palace, and also Rhian Brewster is going to come on up front as well. So certainly Derby will be pleased to see Ozil back, who's done well on this loan spell again.
Yeah, David Ozil had a difficult loan spell last year, again with injuries, and didn't quite get his best form out of him. A player that, you know, was really fancied at Palace, played Premier League football, but this year been a lot better, been really important to Derby, both both his aggression and his size, but also his ball playing ability in the middle of that park.
Here come Derby with it on the right-hand side. Joe Ward tries to swing it over. His delivery has been a feature of Derby's season, but Jack Harrison doing that job as the left wing back there, blocking it behind. Derby corner from the right-hand side. And the ball did burst in that cup final that Derby won in 1946. The old-fashioned ball with the leather panels burst when Derby's Jackie Stamps shot the ball in the closing minutes of normal time. And it also burst in the final the next year as well. Here is Ward, raises his left arm to the near post, but that's cleared out of play by Gruev for a second consecutive Derby corner. I'm wondering, whether the power of Gnonto's shot burst the ball. Ward takes this shot. In fact, Anthony Taylor says he's not ready yet, or did he take it outside the quadrant, maybe?
If it's outside the quadrant, sure.
Or I think he was maybe still speaking to some of the players in the middle.
Yeah, fair enough. I was just thinking, surely the assistant referee can tell him it's outside the quadrant before he takes it, but yeah, it's all set back up again.
So Ward to take this corner, right-footed, 2-1 Leeds in front. Header wide on the stretch for Scythe.
Danny Bart
stretching in amongst a crowd of players. Did well to get his head to it, actually, in amongst a crowd.
Brave as a lion. He looks like he's hurt his nose from this one.
I think he might have hit it. I think he might have headed it with his nose.
Yeah, but it's one of those. Listen, that's the second time. In the first half, they had a little warning from Danny Bart's aerial ability. Got his head to it. Just then, it's an outswinging corner from Joel Ward. It's going towards the back post, about 8 yards out, just outside the 6-yard box. Danny Bart gets a great head to it, but just not enough to get it on target. And yeah, he's got a little bit of a sore nose from it. The physios are going on, but he looks like he's going to be okay to continue. And Derby make their substitutions.
So this is going to be a little bit of a reshuffle, isn't it? Lewis Travis, who's only just back, the captain, is being substituted, and Corey Blackett-Taylor as well is coming off now, who gets applause and a pat on the back from John Eustace. He's been bright, he's been involved in the build-up to the Derby goal.
Yeah, been really good today, Corey, because as much as we speak about, he's had to get his Derby future back in that, I think, he's played in a side where he's actually playing in his position, playing against a Leeds team that were allowing him, I guess, that bit of space with Gnonto being in front of him to attack ball now. And he did really well and been a part of a lot of what Derby have done today, so he can give himself a pat on the back for his performance.
But it's Leeds coming forward. Gnonto, his ball across, and that is sliced straight up in the air by Brewster, his first touch, and it dropped out of play before Zetterstrom caught it, so it's a Leeds corner from the right.
Yeah, is there such thing as an attacker's clearance? Because Brewster caught that, is in just right underneath it and literally almost caused problems to Zetterstrom. Fortunately for him, it's towards the side of the goal, but they do concede a corner which they'll have to defend properly,
said the defender. So a corner. The score, if you just switched onto us on 5 Live, for the Emirates FA Cup third round Sunday, Derby 1, Leeds 2, and Leeds with this corner. Derby player goes down, Salverson, and referee Taylor says it's a push, and it's a free kick to Derby inside their own box. So he's made the changes then, Curtis, John Eustace. So Ryan Brewster is on the substitutes bench for this. Just the 2 goals so far this season, 2 goals, both of them last month. That's one thing he does need to do, isn't it? 25 years old now, improve his goal return.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's crazy to say that he's only 25 years old, because it seems like he's had a couple of football careers already, in terms of, we've got the young lad that came through at Forest, then we've got the lad that went to Blackburn and changed his name to Diaz and became a Chile international, and now he's in this stage now where he's rebuilding himself again at Derby. But listen, like I said, John Eustace was able to do the recruitment in the summer for players that he knows, players that he trusts. He went to Brereton Diaz knowing what he'll get out of him, knowing the kind of job he'll get out of him. So as much as, listen, everyone wants to see more goals and assists from Brereton Diaz, but he knows what he's going to get from him week in, week out, with that work rate, that pressing, getting up and down the pitch, and he's been happy enough with what he's got from him himself.
We've just had a message, Curtis, from your friend and mine, Darren Fletcher, not the Manchester United manager, the other one, who says the reason the balls burst in the 2 finals after World War II was that the materials weren't good enough That's the reason that the ball's burst, which is interesting. I've got another little line on that. As Brewster plays it for Salverson, they say, go on, lad, get there, but he doesn't. Ampadu gets there first and plays it back to the goalkeeper, who passes it out through the middle to Tanaka, the man who scored the second Leeds United goal. Scored 2 in the space of 3 minutes, Leeds, to turn it around. In that 1956 final, and this is also a one-off, come back to that, because here come Leeds with Okafor on the left-hand side. Okafor with the orange boots, the signing from Milan in the summer, comes back to Ampadu on the halfway line. He passes it forward to Harrison. Back it goes to the Bulgarian Gruev, who will go back to the halfway line. In that 1956 final, due to a shortage of gold after the Second World War, Gnonto crossing into the penalty area. That's cleared away. Harrison gets it back, plays it to his left to Okafor. Okafor shoots for goal, deflected by a defender, and then Brewster in there. Well, that's a proper clearance.
That's a proper one. He cleared it right out. Yep. It went into touch fully on the full. So, yeah, well done, Brian Brewster.
In that 46 final, due to a shortage of gold, the winners were given bronze medals, not gold medals. And then, later that year, they were given gold medals. So they are the only FA Cup winners, that Derby team in 1946, to get 2 winners' medals each.
Nice. I would have just taken 1, to be honest, even if it were bronze.
Exactly. Silver, bronze, whatever. Derby 1, Leeds 2 on this cold afternoon, but it's the Leeds United fans that you can hear. 1-0 down at half-time. I put together the list, Curtis, at the break of the Premier League teams that are already out, just in case I was going to have to add Leeds' name to them. But Derby coming forward, they've certainly not given up hope, but Leeds are, with Biol, have it on the edge of their own penalty area, and Gnonto back there, and eventually it is cleared away to the halfway line. Yes, Leeds trying not to join the list that is Nottingham Forest, Everton, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth and Tottenham already out, Premier League clubs, and either Manchester United or Brighton will go out later. But Leeds in front as the ball is played back by Ebu Adams, who I see has now got the captain's armband after Lewis Travis went off a few minutes ago. Gnonto forward through the middle. Now Mecha takes that ball nicely in his stride, tried to angle it back across, but that was blocked away by Langas, and it's out of play for a throw down the right-hand side. Yes, on this cold afternoon, I was very welcome for that coffee you got me at half-time. They did an excellent breakfast bun, didn't they, downstairs Derby County for us a little earlier, or a breakfast cob, as they call it, in these parts, in the East Midlands, as Leeds win a free kick. Ozo just tugging back, and it's a free kick to Leeds on the right-hand side. Back to the WSL, back to Sophia Hartley at Manchester City.
And the league leaders have doubled their lead. Manchester City 2, Everton 0. It was Bunny Shaw to set up Viviane Miedema. She carries the ball into the box and gets to strike her 5th goal of the season. Manchester City 2, Everton 0.
I'll run you through the other latest scores once we see this Leeds free kick. Leeds 2-1 up, 5 Live from the BBC. If you're on the move on this Sunday as well, you can listen 5 Live on the BBC Sounds app. Harrison plays it in, but that's headed away at the near post. And a good header away as well. Gnonto then back to Gruev, who heads it back to his right to Gnonto, who lifts it over the top. Harrison is there, right-footed ball across the penalty area, and that's cleared away by Langas in the middle. Aston Villa winning 2-1 against Brighton in the WSL. Chelsea now 4-0 up on West Ham, and Tottenham winning 1-0 against Leicester. And that Villa-Brighton match is on Sports Extra 2.
It looks like Derby are ready in Ajimang and Eames.
Okay, so another debut for Owen Eames, an academy product, 19-year-old midfielder Owen Eames, who I think John Eustace did say on Friday that he would have liked to have given Eames some minutes. He's liking what he's seen of him so far, and it is quite significant when he comes on. I'll tell you why. Ward chests this down, and then Joe Ward turns and plays it back into central defence. Bart across to Langas, and Derby passing it around nicely inside their own half. But then, as I say that, short pass from Ebu Adams, and Leeds are back in. Pirro, who's had a penalty saved, gone close on another couple of occasions. Hit the post as well, of course, didn't he, in the first half? And had the penalty saved, but hasn't been able to get on the score sheet. But nevertheless, Leeds 2-1 up, and the ball, though, going back to goalkeeper Darlow at the other end.
And it's always interesting with his step over is almost like an assist. But he doesn't get the assist because he doesn't touch the ball. But
that's not right, that, is it?
No, but it's that bit of movement that he makes to draw the defender slightly across, the extra couple of yards towards him, and then he leaves it at the last moment by stepping over it. And that's the bit that makes a space for Gnonto to then have the fierce strike on goal.
Pass from Okafor, and well, actually, I thought that was heading out of play, but it's been kept in on the right-hand side. Back to Pirro on the edge of the area. It took a touch. He gets a chance to then shoot left-footed, but it's too close to Zetterstrom, who's able to pat it down quite comfortably. But yes, I agree with you, Curtis. You know, a piece of skill like that to allow the ball to go, you know, that's more of an assist than many of the assists that are actually assists.
But it's also the fact that when you've, again, we say that he's missed the penalty, he's wanting to get his goal, and you see some of the shots he's had. He had another shot from the edge of the box. It'd be easy for him to just be greedy, take the ball and then have a shot. But what he does is unselfish team play, and it allows them to get back in the game, and then eventually they're now in front.
Yep, as the ball is out of play for a throw into Derby, and we're going to see these two changes now. So coming off, it is
Gruev first, the Leeds substitution first.
Oh, Leeds first, or something, yeah. So Gruev, this is the second change that Leeds have made, and it is Sean Longstaff coming on into the midfield, and Bobby Clark is going to be replaced by Owen Eames, who is he's a tiny little character, isn't he? He can't be much taller than 5'6".
Well, they do have Liam Thompson, who came through the academy as well. That's quite small, so I'll be in good company if he's with as good as Tomo.
But number 37, Owen Eames, 19 years old, as also Patrick Adjaman is applauded onto the field, the number 7, with Salverson coming off. I think the thing about Eames is that if you remember when all of the turmoil at Derby County, as you will well know, Curtis, you know, many of the young academy players were sold off, and the academy has had to sort of regenerate, and it's felt that Eames is the first one from the new academy that you know, is showing the way forward again for them.
Yeah, it's a club that has a rich history of bringing players into the team, you know, going back as far as the likes of, you know, Lee Holmes, Tom Huddleston, and then in my time you've got the Max Birds, the Jason Knights, the Cashins, the Liam Thompson. So the fact that we had to sell a load off during that time is frustrating, you know, before they even got to really get going. You know, Amari Kellerman has been moved on twice since from Aston Villa to Chelsea as well, and you know, he's now on loan at Cardiff, and then you see the likes of Cade Gordon. You know, it's frustrating that these players never got to pull on a Ram shirt, but you know, now the club's in a stable place, and that academy that's always, you know, been competitive with the rest is starting to build again.
Yeah, with a local man, David Clowes, as the chairman and owner, as Gnonto has it on the right hand side. Gnonto into the penalty area. I see that Owen Eames apparently is listed as 5'10". Is Harrison plays a header, Gorwitz is saved. Excellent save from Zetterstrom again, which kept out the effort from Metcher, I think it was, who got his head to it between the penalty spot and the edge of the 6-yard box. Another save to add to his list, and actually keeps Derby in this. Harrison with a cross again from the left-hand side, but a good catch from Zetterstrom this time.
Yeah, Owen Eames must have been allowed to do his measurement while standing on a box, because there's no way he's 5'10". You know, I see him stand on the pitch. I'm a tall person, yes, but I don't believe he's 5'10" for one moment. But yeah, listen, as long as he can play with the ball and he's got a little bit about him in terms of putting himself about as a midfielder, then I'll be happy with him whatever size he is.
Yeah, which he already has done, it should be said. As Adjamang now involved in the action for the first time, but Leeds able to clear it away. But now Owen Eames plays it through for Brereton Diaz, but it was overhit actually by the young Derby midfielder, and it was through to goalkeeper Darlow. What have we got left, Curtis? 15 minutes to play. Leeds 2-1 up, and it's actually been quite watchable, hasn't it, this match? It's I did wonder today, but it's actually, with all the team changes that were made, but but both sides have given it a go.
Yeah, it's one of those things, when you make changes, you either get a disrupted side that maybe doesn't know how to work with one another, or you've got a load of motivated players that want to turn around to that manager and say, look what I did today, put me in the team for the league squad. So I think it's always that kind of balance. But I think what the game has had is it's had a little bit of fire in it. It's had that end-to-end nature. You've had chances, you've had shots, you've had obviously the penalty, you've had all the kind of emotions of a good old cup tie. But hopefully there's more still to come in this last 15 minutes.
Yep, Leeds United, Daniel Farke certainly will take this after the events of Wednesday night. That was probably part of his thinking as well, that quite an emotional match at St James's Park, the 4-3 defeat, so making the 8 changes that he made with Calvert-Lewin and Aronson as well on the substitutes bench, another of the current in-form Leeds United players. But it looks as though they might not be needed. Leeds, who've actually not won away in any competition since September, as the ball's taken in the penalty area by Okafor, who is able to cross it left-footed, but Bart was able to go down and clear it away out of play here on the left-hand side. Yes, that only one win away from home so far this season. 21,741 the attendance, and 5,000 or so of those Leeds United supporters. As I say, lots of empty seats in the home end, but they still bring in some superb crowds, Derby. Always have done, haven't they, despite dropping out of the Premier League such a long time ago. There has been another goal in WSL at Chelsea. Charlotte Richardson.
Chelsea 5, West Ham 0. Sandy Baltimore extends the host lead from the penalty spot. Handball in the area. Baltimore left-footed. Corley stroked the ball into the net. Chelsea 5, West Ham 0.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Leeds United inching closer to a place in tomorrow's fourth round draw. As every minute passes by, they've got possession inside the Derby half to our left, and then Tanaka, as rain now sweeps across Pride Park from right to left. Biol, and then it's curled forward as we get a chorus of Yorkshire, and the ball dribbles through for a goal kick. Early kickoffs in the Champions Cup Rugby Union. It's Toulon 0, Munster 3. Harlequins are 33-0 up against Stormers. That's on Sports Extra 3, by the way, if you want to listen to that. Harlequins with a big lead there. And in the Challenge Cup, Montpellier 14, Connacht 14, Zebra 13, Ospreys 0. And as the ball bounces out for a throw into Leeds on the far side, I can tell you that later on there'll be commentary on Sports Extra on the Saracens-Toulouse game from 3:30. But lots more FA Cup commentaries to come. Portsmouth-Arsenal coming up at 2 o'clock. And there should be a great noise at Fratton Park. That must be one of the great places to play, Curtis, Fratton Park.
Yeah, fantastic feeling there, and it's always, having played in the Premier League, played there in the Championship, it's always a tough place to go. Really gritty, old school ground, but then the fans add that extra little bit of spice to the game. And yeah, you always, I can't remember his full name, but Mr. Portsmouth Football Club.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
John Westwood.
Yeah, with his bell. You always hear that, and it's always, quite an intimidating place to go. But I love those tight, older grounds because, again, playing away from home, atmospheres are everything.
Yep, the Pompey chimes. And Gnonto keeping the ball in on the far side. Played back towards the edge of the penalty area. Darlow then passing it out here to Ampadu. Harrison puts his foot on the ball. The yellow ball, not the limited edition winners' ball of yesterday, as there is a foul on Metcha by Bart, 10 yards inside the Leeds United half, and it's a free kick to the Premier League team. I've seen Leeds fall out of the FA Cup quite ignominiously quite a few times in recent years. They lost at Crawley 3-0 back in 2021. I was there when they were beaten by Newport back in 2018, and as well at Sutton in the fourth round in 2017. And I think Leeds United supporters would absolutely love a run in the FA Cup, a la Crystal Palace last season.
Yeah, I think it's one of those competitions, like you say. I think when I go back to my time at Hull, we were actually the top seed in every single round we had. So if you get a good enough draw, you can get there. And then once you get there on the day, you've got every chance of causing an upset. But I think it's one thing for the club and for the supporters to want to get through the rounds, but when we speak about all the changes that have been made today, listen, once they get to the quarter-final stage, they might go as strong as they can. But all these players will see it that we get through the round, I've got another game. I've got another game. And sometimes that's just as important because they know that they keep their CV quite strong by playing games. And, you know, if that game comes just before the window, they might be able to impress somebody enough to go out and potentially get themselves a little move.
Yeah. Free kick given Derby's way. I think Longstaff just ran into Adams, didn't he?
It was given against Adams, actually.
Okay.
So, yes.
It does. It's been given for Leeds, who take the free kick. Mention of that Sutton match, I was reminded by our BBC Radio Leeds friend Adam Pope, who said, do you remember the Sutton pie-eating goalkeeper, Wayne Shaw, who I'd completely forgotten about? Do you remember that story?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
He got himself into hot water, didn't he? If I remember rightly. The officials took a dim view of his pie-eating antics. Yeah, great effort.
That's just exactly, again, another story from the FA Cup that you don't get from any other competition.
No, you don't often get pie-eating getting involved in. Certainly in the Premier League. As here is Eames. He's a little worker, isn't he? He's a real busy bee. Owen Eames gets it again. Quite a loose-limbed sort of schoolboy frame, really, with his long-sleeved shirt and his black gloves. Goes back to the halfway line. Derby trying to force an equaliser, perhaps to take this to extra time, as Ward just down in front of us with his sides of his head shaved almost to the bone. Forward it goes, but Leeds have got it back, and Tanaka will actually return it all the way to goalkeeper Darlow, who passes it out from the back. Yes, if you've just joined us, this was the 12 o'clock kickoff in the FA Cup today. Derby County took the lead in the first half through Ben Brereton Diaz, just shortly after Pirro had a penalty saved at the other end by Zetterstrom. But Leeds scored twice in 3 minutes, probably less than 3 minutes, in the second half through Gnonto and Tanaka. And with, what have we got, 6-7 minutes to go plus added time, it's Leeds who are 2-1 up. Gnonto running forward with it, and angles the pass nicely to Mecha, who's in the area on the right-hand side. Blue shirts pouring forward for Leeds, but the cross is blocked from Mecha. Longstaff, former Newcastle midfielder, has missed quite a period of this season, Sean Longstaff, after his move to Elland Road with injury, but feeling his way back now. Number 8 on his shirt, passing it forward to Gnonto, then back to Ampadu on the halfway line, and then Tanaka will play it all the way back to Darlow, and Leeds doing that Premier League thing of just trying to take the sting out of this now and not giving Derby a sniff.
Yeah, that's what they've got to do, because Derby had a little bit of sustained possession for about a minute earlier, but what Derby kept doing is getting into a half-dangerous area, not really having the idea or the industry to actually make something happen and going back towards their own goal. So Leeds have been patient, but when they've got it, again, just moving the ball around, trying to make Derby come out of those pockets, because when they do, they've got that quality to just play that pass or that little lifted one in behind because of the pace they have on the front line.
FA Cup commentaries coming up. Portsmouth Arsenal from 2. Norwich Walsall will be on Sports Extra 2. West Ham QPR will be on Sports Extra. And actually, over the course of this weekend, so many commentaries on Sports Extra on the BBC Sounds app, and every match is on your local BBC radio station or can be heard on BBC Sounds. Harrison carrying the ball forward to the edge of the area, tried to slip it through, but it just took a deflection, and that meant Bart could slide in and get a right foot to it to clear it to Brereton Diaz, who's kept it in just down in front of us here. Brereton Diaz clips it over the top, Adjaman on the chase, but it will just bounce through to Darlow, and the goalkeeper can come out and just take it away from Adjaman.
Yeah, the bounce was really, really fortunate there for Darlow, because as it goes in behind, Adjaman's going to beat B off for pace, but as it bounces just inside the corner of the box, so Darlow's able to actually claim it with his hands, because if that had finished outside the box, Darlow would have been in all sorts of problems trying to readjust his body, and Adjaman might well have been in on goal.
Frustration, because a free kick is given against Derby County, so Leeds have got a free kick. There'll be in no hurry to take that. Also, Daniel Farker making another change. Willie Gnonto after scoring his first goal of the season here this afternoon with a fiercely hit shot, is going to be replaced by Sam Byram, who's not played since August. So I'm sure he and Daniel Farke will be pleased to be able to give him some time on the field.
Yeah, Sam Byram, he's a proper Leeds man. Listen, he had his time where he left and went to West Ham, and he's come back. He managed to get himself back to that football club. But yeah, a solid pair of hands, you know, coming on late into this game just to see the game out. Maybe, you know, the excitement and Nonto, what he's brought to the game and what he's brought to this Leeds attacking line. It's probably time to just withdraw that and just protect this Leeds and this lead and see the game out, because as you see when we look at the pitch now with Derby, Brereton Diaz and Adjumang stretching the pitch as much as possible, going a little bit more open and willing to try and get this goal back and get him back into this cup tie.
Yeah, Willie Gnonto just gets a little pat from Daniel Farke, who's out there now dressed all in black, hair tightly tied back, hooded jacket, hands in his pockets. His team getting closer to a place in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Ball into the penalty area, but Derby deal with it. Ward plays it away downfield. Adjumang is battling for this with Biol. The whistle goes and he wins a free kick. Derby fans in front of us are clapping in a way that suggests that they don't think they've got too many of the decisions from Anthony Taylor, but it's a free kick for them. Chance to hit this set piece from distance.
I don't think there was actually much in there. I think it was a fair challenge in terms of Adjumang had his arm out almost with Biol's shirt a little bit, and Biol just gave as good as he got. So I don't think there really was a decision to be made. But listen, it gives Derby an opportunity to put those big bodies into the box with Forsyth, Bart and Adjumang at the back post.
Yeah, I was just going to look at our screen for a replay of that as Ward curls this in, but too close to goalkeeper Darlow, who's able to make the catch, and so Leeds survived that one. Yes, I was going to look for a replay and found it on our screen. We've actually got pictures of an empty Swansea City stadium instead of this match. So I don't know what's happened there. So I can tell you, it looks dry in Swansea at the moment, although overcast, as Leeds, as Derby bringing it forward over there on the left-hand side with Ozil. Comes back and they find Ward now on the right. Ward taking on Harrison, up to Brereton Diaz, then back to Adams, who's under pressure from Longstaff, means he's given it away. Ozil goes in, wins the ball back well. Eames takes it on, Eames into the challenge, but it bounces away and actually touched the Derby man last and all the way through for a goal kick. But I think the Derby fans like the look of Eames.
Yeah, he's had a couple of decent touches. His first touch that he actually had with the ball, he obviously tried to put in Brereton Diaz down left-hand side, played it a bit too long, but since then he's been wanting to get on the ball. He's had the little touches, just pass and move, kind of evasive, getting away from people, making spaces, so he has looked tidy when he's got it. This will be the first, obviously, kind of induction that he gets, and he'll have easier games and easier personnel to play against, but yeah, so far so good.
Leeds are going to make a double change. I wasn't expecting that we'd see Aronson this afternoon. So he did have a little bit of cramp, they said, after St James's Park. But Aronson and Stack, two of the frontliners, are coming on for the final minutes of this match. So Joel Pirot, who has done just about everything apart from score today, is off, and Okafor as well coming onto the field. Pirot, who's had such a good season last season, and actually Daniel Farke says something to Pirot just as he comes off the field, which makes him laugh.
Yeah, like I say, I think he's missed the penalty, yes, but he's wanted to get on the ball, he's wanted to have shots. If you have a striker / number 10, whatever you want to call Pirot, that hides away and doesn't want to take shots because he's missed an opportunity, then you're going to be a bit more worried. But the fact he still wanted to do that, he's also had the brain power to be selfless in a moment where he could have potentially scored himself. You know, he's done well for Leeds today and been a brilliant player.
Yep, so Leeds making that double change. We're in the 90th minute now. Leeds very close to winning what was an awkward tie for them, coming to Derby County, leading by 2-1. Leeds have it inside the Derby half. A twist and a turn from the newly arrived Anton Stack. And then a challenge near the edge of the box on Stack, which took the legs of the of the German international, and that is a free kick very clearly to Leeds near the right corner of the box, and 4 minutes of added time here. 4 minutes Leeds are, plus whatever else is added on from a place in the fourth round draw tomorrow.
Yeah, and just as that 4 minute board went up, you just saw that John Eustace was gesturing to Brewster, to Brereton Diaz and to Adjutman just to stay out the pitch. Let's take the risk. Let's see what they do from this free kick. We need to try and get back in this. Doesn't matter if they score another one. There's no goal difference in the cup, and yeah, to try and give them that last opportunity to get anywhere near scoring another goal against Leeds.
Yeah, Derby mid-table in the Championship, but they are only 6 points off the playoff places. But I think the feeling would be they would have to go some to win promotion this season. However, we'll see. As it is, they're going out of the FA Cup. Leeds take this free kick, and actually they take it out wide from a position where that could easily have been played into the area, and then Eames is fouled as he breaks forward, and that is an absolute yellow card for, I think it was Harrison, wasn't it, who caught him as he ran past him.
Yep. That was, again, as professional footballers, what we call a good foul. You know, Eames is literally just about to break away, and if he does break away, he's got Brereton Diaz down the right-hand side, free as a bird. So it's a good foul by Jack Harrison for his team, takes the yellow card and protects his team's lead for now.
And in added time, it's still in the balance this tie. Long free kick, hit downfield by the goalkeeper, but Leeds win the header, and it's cleared up in the air by Stack. Might have been a foul by Aronson, that's not given. Anthony Taylor allows play to continue. Aronson, another aerial challenge from the American, but Derby have got it back and play it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Zetterström. Long and high from him. See the ball caught by the floodlights as it spins through the air downfield. Sean Longstaff has got it. In comes the challenge on him from Adams, deflected out of play off the Leeds United man. It's a throw-in. We've got 2 balls on the pitch at the moment yet again. It's thrown back by someone in the crowd while Ward was going to take it, so that just delays things. We're into the 3rd minute of added time now. Derby 1, Leeds 2. Brereton Diaz challenge, no free kick. Leeds break away. Longstaff forward towards Metcha. Metcha then goes for a ball into the middle, and it's turned into the net, and that seals it. Leeds score their 3rd goal, and it is James Justin who arrived with his left foot to clip it beyond Zetterström. Leeds on the way through to the 4th round, 3-1 up now. Derby County supporters, all rounders, on their feet, heading to the exits. In added time, Derby 1, Leeds 3, and James Justin, the latest Leeds scorer.
Yeah, and it's great work by Leeds, and it's good refereeing by Anthony Taylor, because down this bottom corner he easily could have given a foul against Brereton Diaz, against Jack Harrison, but what happens is the ball lands to Longstaff, who drives through the grab, and he puts the Lemaitre in 1v1 against Craig Forsyth. Craig Forsyth has to delay, but Lemaitre sees James Justin coming in, and as he meets the ball, he runs in towards the edge of the penalty spot, met by Zetterström, but James Justin just able to put it between the legs of Zetterström. 3-1 Leeds, game over, Leeds into the 4th round.
Yep, and they've done well from 1-0 down, an awkward situation, to have come back strongly in the second half with 3 goals without reply. And yes, you can take your pen out and write Leeds' name into tomorrow's 4th round draw at 6:30 it will be, or just after 6:30. There is the whistle. Leeds are through, Derby are out. Derby, who were winning 1-0 at half-time, the Championship side, but Leeds United, Daniel Farker made his changes in the second half, and it's the Premier League team who have come through strongly to go through. Curtis Davis.
Yeah, and I think on the balance of the game and the play and the chances, you would say that Leeds obviously were the team that were better and definitely probably deserved the goals that they got. In terms of the game and as a cup tie, as a contest, it seemed a lot tighter than that, but Leeds had the better quality. We saw the likes of Pirro, having shots for fun, Zetterström having to pull out some big saves, and it could only be so long before those shots on target became goals. And fortunately for Leeds in that second half, when they were having those shots on target, they put them in the back of the net and put Derby to the sword.
Yes, the 5,000 Leeds fans, of those who are travelling back to West Yorkshire, there'll be travelling home up the M1, very satisfied and happy after this, seeing their team win through to the fourth round after Derby 1, Leeds United 2.
Yeah,
three it is. Yes.
You need to get your pen out and write down the third goal.
I've just done it.
Right, well done.
He's just put his abacus away, so...
Yeah.
Well, he did keep going back to the war several times during that commentary. The other good thing for Leeds, and Daniel Farke in particular, I suppose, Curtis, is that not only are they into the next round, but he's also got minutes into the legs of either fringe players or those coming back from injury.
Yeah, that's exactly it, and that's what this competition is good for. It's not to be disrespected, but when you're making changes as a Premier League side and you're bringing in players, like I say, you're bringing in internationals, you're bringing in top quality players. I know, even if you say, right, a lot of them were top Championship players last year, so when you're bringing them in, you're able to give them the minutes, get a little bit of joy out of them as well. As much as we spoke about Pirro missing the penalty and not able to get that goal that he's been longing for this season, the performance will give him a lot of confidence. The spaces that he picked up caused Derby all sorts of problems. So it was a good performance of him, and being able to not only give those players the game time but rest the others. Like I say, Aronson coming on late on, but able to keep Calvert-Lewin warm and keep him on the sideline. Yeah, there's a lot of strength in both sides of it, but really good overall performance from Leeds, even though, again, that 5 minutes of madness saw them go behind. But the character that they showed and the quality that they showed, they deserve to win this game today.
And then the final thing, I suppose, is I know they lost 4-3 at Newcastle during the week. Most people watching that would suggest they didn't deserve to lose that. It kind of keeps the feel-good factor around the place, which started, ironically, with a win over another sort of 70s rivalry. And when they beat Chelsea midweek at the start of December, that's when this feel-good run started.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Again, that Newcastle game was a really strange game. To say that you come off having lost 4-3 and feel like you're hard done by is, you could concede 4 goals is a lot, but it's just the manner of it, the timing of it, everything like that was tough to take. But the fact that they know they've got goals in them, they're able to go up there and compete against a good Newcastle side, I think it will put them in good stead. As we said, they hadn't won an away game since September. Yep. So this, even though it is in the FA Cup, it's against the Derby side, the fact there's a little bit of rivalry, a little bit of needle on it, they'll take whatever they can get. So it's an away win, an away performance that they'll be proud of, and they'll take that into the next game.
And it's funny, isn't it, how things change so quickly. Just watching here, Mark, Daniel Farke, you probably heard in the background, he was orchestrating the Leeds fans there, all of them, the 5,000 or so, singing his name, Daniel Farke, all smiles, waving at them. Yeah. It felt like it's only a matter of weeks ago that if you believe what you hear, quite a few Leeds United fans weren't sure if he was the right man, but he is the flavour of the moment, yep. It would seem, again.
Absolutely is. And they are into the fourth round. Thank you, John. Thank you, Curtis. Highlights tonight, 10:30 tonight on BBC One of all today's FA Cup ties.